Charlie Brown, Snoopy, and friends join the Seattle Symphony for Peanuts' 75th anniversary on March 27th, 28th, and 29th at Benaroya Hall. Peanuts comes to the symphonic stage with a live host, actors in costume, imagery from the show, and Vince Guaraldi's music. Plus, use promo code SNOOPY, SNOOPY, to unlock 15% off tickets. Get tickets now at seattlesymphony.org. This is CityCast Seattle. I'm Jane C. Hu, and here's what Seattle's talking about. Local burger chain Dick's is facing allegations from employees that they didn't receive adequate rest breaks and overtime pay. And it's Tuesday, which means we're bringing you some good news with our weekly segment, Good News Day Tuesday. But first, over the weekend, the Trump administration announced they would be deploying ICE officers to airports across the country. Probably not Seattle, though, at least not yet, but let's get into it. Joining us to discuss, we have Hannah Krieg, founder of The Burner, Seattle's reporter without a boss. Welcome, Hannah.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And we have Eula Scott Bino, community doula and multi-generational Seattle resident. Eula the doula, welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
So details are still pretty murky at the moment about what this announcement actually means for Seattle. But as we enter the 6th week of TSA agents working without pay, a lot of them are calling out sick, leading to long security lines in some cities. Like the Houston airport had a 50% call out rate on Friday. I mean, I can't blame them. If I were not getting paid, I feel like 6 weeks of doing this would be a lot.
Yeah.
Seattle, though, has generally not seen a lot of delays, and Port Commissioner Sam Cho said in an official statement on Reddit that Seattle is unlikely to be one of the places ICE is deployed in airports because we haven't had those long wait times. And in a statement that was posted on Facebook, the airport says that they already have people to fill the non-screening jobs that ICE agents would be doing. So the administration says that the ICE agents would not be doing immigration enforcement, that they would just be filling in, like, monitoring lines, monitoring exits, things that they can pitch in to do without having to have specific TSA screening. Hannah, I know you've been tracking this. What are you seeing?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great that Commissioner Cho and CTAC have, or I guess it's now C, have been, trying to keep information up to date, have a lot of context. That's good context that, if this is about wait times, our wait times haven't been bad. We're also not among a list of 13 airports that CNN reported that inside sources say are the airports that are being targeted. So far, it's unclear if those 13 are the 13 we're seeing this morning. That list came out much earlier today, and this is really developing. And I think it is good to kind of like quell fears a little bit that like, hey, it doesn't really look like it's going to happen here, but what the Trump administration does doesn't have to make sense, even if we have, even if we don't have wait time issues. I mean, there's, a whole sort of host of reasons why, and reasons we may never be able to anticipate from that man, that he could deploy ICE here. It is like a finite group of agents. So, I mean, we'll be able to kind of see, but anything I say right now could be out of date in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Can we pause real quick on you saying it's not SeaTac anymore, it's just C? What does that mean?
Yeah, they changed it. It's no longer like Seattle. Do you know more about this, Jane? It's like,
yes, I believe they are changing their branding to be SEA. I think they're going to have a very hard time changing longtime Seattleites' use of SeaTac as the name.
Like, blowing my mind.
Is this the first you're hearing of this, Eula?
Yeah, I was like, it's just, but I appreciate that. I think Tacoma is a B-class town, so I'm fine with it.
I actually was just in Tacoma over the weekend, and a couple of friends just moved from Seattle down to Tacoma, and we're like really singing Tacoma's praises and how we should all move down there and how the thrifting is so much better and everything is so much better. So I wonder if I don't actually know what the long-term story is behind why we want it to be SEA. I think maybe that is the airport code.
Yes.
And that could be the main reason for wanting to cut out the TAC part of SeaTac.
Yeah. And SeaTac is an actual little town. That's the thing, too. It's like it
That
exists.
too.
Yeah.
I could see that being confusing.
I'm actually traveling this Saturday. And so that's what I keep thinking is like, I have to go to the airport with 2 children for a 10-hour flight. We're heading to Japan with my family. And I have a cousin, though, who has like struggled at the border because his name is like a very common Latinx name. He struggled just trying to get to Canada. So I worry about him a little bit trying to get through this, especially if like ICE were to be deployed.
I do think that there is a lot of concern and confusion about what it means. You know, of course, the Trump administration's line is that they're there to help, they're there to fill in. I think a lot of people are feeling skeptical of that. And I mean, I do think that there's a lot of legitimate fear and confusion around what ICE is doing in communities as well. I saw a video that was posted late Sunday of a woman being held down by 2 men at SFO. Neither of them had anything on them that identified them as an officer. But local news did confirm that these were federal officers that were apparently transporting this woman and her child. And an SFO spokesperson says that this was, quote, an isolated incident and have no reason to suspect broader enforcement action at SFO. But this got me thinking about just how heightened feelings are here in Seattle. I feel like we've been braced for months now that ICE could have a bigger presence here. Last week, a woman was detained in the U District, and people believed it was an ICE abduction at first. Mayor Wilson came out and said a little while later that this was a Department of Homeland Security action arresting this woman on a criminal warrant and that it was not immigration related. I'm thinking a lot about media literacy lately and how difficult it can be to parse what you see online and the decision whether to share something, hoping that it might get to people faster and alert people who need to know that information versus sharing it when there isn't all the information available yet.
Yeah.
I mean, how are you all thinking about that right now, living in this 2026 internet?
So we need people to legitimize what we're hearing. And often Seattle is so private, you know, in every way. We all know we're private, but we're private in every way. And that really affects like the telephone that goes on when there's struggle and trauma, because people are like, oh, I heard it was this. And then another person heard it was that. And then we all just sit and just knowing they were taken. We don't really know what went on per se. I appreciate the mayor coming out and letting us know what happened, though. That's helpful.
Yeah, Hannah, I mean, I know you get a ton of tips from people and have to wade through this all the time. How are you thinking about it?
Yeah, I mean, I get probably 5 videos like this a day. And some of them are old and out of date. I try to verify the time first. I'm like, is this a video you took? Is this like, do you have the metadata like screenshot to show you took at this time? But with the incident that happened last week, I shared that, and that was as community suspecting ICE. It's hard to tell, especially when they're all wearing very similar things. And ICE is an agency within DHS, and this was the HSI, which is Homeland Security Investigations Unit, which is basically like ICE's sister. Like, we're kind of splitting hairs here, I won't lie. Wilson says this doesn't have to do with immigration. That very well may be true. It also may be true that this person's status, which was kind of went into in KOW, also made them a target of this as well, even if they did have a criminal charge. The criminal charges I've been seeing online, and I haven't been able to verify them because they're just like random like posts, seem pretty concerning. But regardless, I mean, we have officers that most people cannot identify kidnapping people or taking people off the street and causing panic. And ICE or not, every agency needs to be very easily identifiable, because I do not believe those agents were easily identifiable in any way.
I think every time something like this happens, it's like, regardless of the reason, the fact that it just looks like some unmarked number of people trying to push someone into a car or detain them, it's not surprising that that leads to a lot of confusion about what is happening, who these people are. And yeah, I just don't think that should be happening.
Yeah. I mean, any of us could kidnap somebody right now, and people would just be confused. No, for real. They'd be like, I'm not. Yeah. What happened? Yeah. It was
and
just
then
us.
we'd have people online taking a video of it and being like, oh, is this evil agency or this evil agency? Or are they being taken to this awful like detention center or this awful detention center like under a different name? It's like the prison industrial complex and immigration are very like tightly linked. We should be very upset about ICE kidnappings. And we should also be very skeptical of all kinds of arrests or any agency is arresting someone and if that's just and like what happens to their family after that.
When you said, Hannah, they're like sisters, it made me think of Cinderella's evil like stepsisters. And like, you're right. If one of them shows up at my door, I'm scared. And if the other one shows up, I'm still scared. It doesn't matter if it's Griselda or the other girl, whatever her name is.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny that we know Griselda, but not the other one. Yeah, I don't know their
but that's
names.
how we know ICE and we don't know Homeland Security. The same difference. Them terrible hoes over there.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Let's take a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about this Dick's lawsuit that might be going down. When I first moved to Seattle, I started going to events at Town Hall Seattle as a way of getting to know the city. I've seen events and panel discussions from my favorite authors and thinkers, and I even went to a concert there. Town Hall is a nonprofit with a mission to amplify ideas, foster civil discourse, and connect people through events. They're a community hub. Nearly every night of the week, you'll find a calendar of events spanning civics, science, and arts and culture. And they're housed in a vibrant historic building. The Great Hall is a gorgeous space with stained glass windows, and the Wyncote Northwest Forum got a stunning makeover a few years ago. Coming up on March 29th, ecologist Suzanne Simard and journalist Linda Mapes will discuss the elaborate cycles of forest ecosystems. Get your tickets at townhallseattle.org. Like most town hall events, these tickets are being offered on a sliding scale with free tickets for people under 22. Like many Seattleites, I live in an old house, and it can get drafty with these old windows. Lately, my heat has been running nearly constantly. If that's also the case for you, it could be because your window insulation has failed. Window Nation can check that out for you and get you new, custom-built, high-quality windows. Their installation crews finish the job in 1 day or less, and they offer a lifetime warranty on all of their windows so you can relax knowing your home is protected far into the future. They've installed 3 million windows across the country, and they've got over 45,000 five-star reviews. Right now, the more you buy, the more savings you could enjoy. You can get up to 50% off on all window styles. You can also get them with 0 down, 0 monthly payments, and 0 interest for 2 years. You can schedule a fast, free estimate now at windownation.com. Again, that's windownation.com. Dick's employees filed a petition for a class action lawsuit in King County Superior Court. Last week, Seattle Times broke that news. So those employees are alleging that they weren't given proper breaks, that they didn't get minimum wage for all of the hours that they worked, and they allege that they were not getting adequate overtime pay. Another allegation is that they were, quote, failing to allow the usage of paid sick leave for qualifying absences. Assuming this moves forward, I'm sure we'll see a lot more details about the specific allegations. But when the Seattle Times reached out to Dick's president and CEO, Jasmine Donovan, told them that we, quote, value our employees and are committed to operating with integrity and in compliance with all applicable laws. Eula, I know you have mentioned before that your first job was at Dick's.
Yeah,
so have you been following this story?
Oh, yeah. I'm kind of surprised by it. What I loved about Dick's being my first job is it's a really well-oiled machine. That's how I, relate it to it. But this is also 20 years ago, you guys. I'm just a baby. But Dick's was so well put together, meaning training wasn't this confusing thing of, okay, so today you're going to shout out Jessica, and then tomorrow we're going to have you on over here. It was like, first you do this, and then you do this. You make your way up from the window to eventually the grill. You're going to have breaks that come at these times. Someone will walk in and relieve you. We go down the line for the systems. It's really organized, and it has to be, right? I was still there before credit card, so cash only, and there was a system even for how you gave people their change. Like literally you had to hand dollars back this certain way. People always talk about how you have to hold up a $20 bill and announce it because these are systems that have been in place since the 70s. I say that to say I'm surprised that there is a lack of order when people say that they're missing these breaks because they come down the line. I mean, Dick's always has like the highest rating of cleanliness because even how you clean is required by the hour. You know what I mean? And so I say that to say, like, I was shocked that people weren't being paid because it just doesn't stack up with what I remember. And then also, Dick's pays you to go to school and to have childcare. Like, so the parts of people that are upset about minimum wage, I'm like, this is a minimum wage job. It's fast food. I got, paid to go to school. And what I snuck was when I dropped classes, I got to put that cash back in my pocket, right? Like I didn't go back to Dick's and be like, oh, that money you guys gave me, I want to return it. I was like, I'll take that $400 to the club. And childcare getting paid for is fantastic. I'm really happy that the person who felt shorted spoke up because a lot of times with these these low bar jobs, people know they can abuse you because you don't have the means to fight back, right? Like I worked at American Apparel back in like the terrible days of like complete sexism and bias. And, if I had my shit together, I would have won like a lawsuit back then just because it was complete discrimination for why I didn't work there anymore. But at the same time, it's hard to be like, I'm going to hire a lawyer and fight the fight when you imagine this person's probably under 24. And a lot of people probably don't take them that seriously because they're at Dick's in the first place because they don't fit into corporate America.
Yeah, I feel like we've seen several stories lately in Seattle about workers, specifically in the food industry, being mistreated. Are there particular aspects of the culture around service industry in Seattle that leaves the door open to this kind of exploitation, or is this just late capitalism?
The food service industry is interesting because people tend to it's like all your beginner jobs, people start to hang out too much. You know what I mean? Like they become like a family. Yeah, they become like family and they hang out after. I had a very strong rule as my whole life that I don't hang out with coworkers like that. Just because I don't like you enough to not say what I need to say. But at work, I won't say it because we're on the job. But the minute we clock out, I'm going to tell you a truth you don't want to hear. And now we're at work and it's weird. So, that's not for me. But I say that to say when people get overly friendly, the lines blur so much sometimes that now you're picking up shifts and you're moving shifts around and you're taking people's hours and you're doing something for someone as a favor. And before you know it, it's really blurry.
It's tough to have boundaries around that. Yeah.
Yes.
Hannah, what do you think are the factors at play here?
The food industry, is just like a hotbed for like abuse. And it's a lot of what we just outlined about like it is a lot of people who will not have the money to hire a lawyer if something goes wrong. And that's sort of something to think about when we think about city budget coming up and negotiations this summer is every time that the previous administration was defunding or trying to defund the Office of Labor Standards, that takes away the city's ability to proactively go after bad employers and leave it on to the private action. There is like systemic issues that make it harder for these people to sue, and the city can do and should do more to protect them.
Yeah.
Eula, I wanted to go back to something you mentioned earlier, which is that Dick's has these college programs, will pay for some childcare. They have great benefits and are known for generally being a decent place to work and, kind of a hometown hero situation.
Yeah.
They've been around for 70 years. I feel like they've amassed a lot of goodwill in the community. What is Dick's legacy in town, given these allegations and also the fact that in 2021, that state investigators had cited them for like COVID health and safety violations based on some worker complaints. They ended up having to pay like $35,000.
I mean, they're capitalists at this point, right? Like, I would say their hometown legacy is that it's a great place to go. I worked at the one in Wallingford, and so I really got to know the culture of like after a UW game, the lines are thick, right? Like, it's where people go as a family. I think about, every time my family went to an event at the Seattle Center, my entire childhood, like if we went to Bumbershoot or the Bite, they would take us off campus to the Queen Anne location to eat because they weren't not going to feed us the cost of things on the campgrounds, right? So it's a low-income space, but they're also able to take advantage of us in the sense that they're trying to make a profit. And since Dick's has passed away, the creator, they've expanded, right? And they might not have the same relationship with the city as he had, because having locations in Kent is a plus for those who live in Kent. I get that. But it is ironic to now have places as far as like, south as Kent and as far north as like Auburn, right? Like they're really, just trying to make their money. And people get hurt when people are trying to make their money. And it's funny because I was thinking about, my dad's legacy. My dad's Tyree Scott, and he was like, big in the trades. But he had an organization called LELO, the Labor Employment Law Offices. And the idea was initially it was to help people sue their employers because there was so much injustice often on the job. And the only way to get yourself like an actual paying gig as a trades worker was to have a lawyer behind you who's going to support you getting to work because, you could be blacklisted so easily. And I wish there was an organization today that was similar that would allow for folks to get the support they need to properly line up these businesses. Because the thing with Dick's is we're all going to keep going if we're being honest. And I'm glad that this person is suing because then it will feel good to know that they've, righted wrongs. But it would be nice to know that they have to sit in fear, too, of what's to come versus just waiting for another opportunity to get over.
Yeah. I don't think Hannah's going to Dick's as a vegetarian.
You don't go get the fries?
No, I don't. It smells so good whenever I pass it, though.
Is that because of the injustice, or is that just because you just don't want to get in the line for fries?
It's a long line, and it's I maybe in a pinch I would, but I guess it's never even occurred to me to just like go get the fries, I guess.
Yeah, my sons are vegetarian, and my 8-year-old has me like put together 2 tops of cheeses so he can have like a grilled cheese every time we go. So I like make him like a makeshift grilled cheese, and then he gets 2 to 3 fries. He loves the fries.
Oh, I didn't think about that workaround. That's smart.
Yeah, but also I had to figure out a way to like survive him. It's my fault he's a vegetarian. I made him a vegetarian, so I also have to work with him in that way. Because I'm still going to go to Dick's. I'm not a vegetarian. I'm allergic to
tofu. All right,
tofu.
Eula is still going to Dick's no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about some good news.
Hi, CityCast listeners. This is David Plotz. I'm the CEO of CityCast, but I also have another job. I'm one of the hosts of the Political Gabfest, Slate's politics podcast. Every week, I get on mic with my co-hosts Emily Bazelon and John Dickerson, and we talk about politics and a lot more about other things that we care about. The Gabfest has been going for more than 20 years because the three of us love talking to each other, and we have an amazing community of listeners. If you like the open-hearted, curious way CityCast approaches cities, I think you'll like the Political Gabfest too. Stream it on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast.
If you're enjoying the podcast, be sure to follow us on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen so you never miss an episode. Also, leave us a little review. It's really helpful. And tell your friends about us. You can also get more local news and events delivered right to your inbox by subscribing to our newsletter. Just go to seattle.citycast.fm. And you can find us on Instagram, Blue Sky, and TikTok at CityCast Seattle. And you can watch full episodes of this show on YouTube. All right, it is Tuesday again, which means it's time for Good News Day Tuesday, where we share some good news to offset everything else. Eula, is there anything on your radar that you want to share with the people as the good news that has come up lately?
One of my besties, Deontay Damper, has been named the Grand Marshal for Pride Parade this year.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's really good news. He's the first Black man to ever be named, which is, says a lot about a 50-year parade that they haven't found one opportunity to, highlight a Black man who's queer in the city. And Deontay
Better late than never.
Oh, absolutely. I'll take it. And especially if it's my guy, I'm grateful. He's a godfather to my son. He's a blessing in my life. And Deontay is really an extraordinary person. He's the kind of person that when he speaks, he's meeting the marker of injustice everywhere at all times. He's not just sitting in the pocket of what it is to be queer or a Black man in this country. He often speaks out about the hardships of Black women and women of color, of, immigrants. And he's using this opportunity to talk about, what we all need to do to make change. The theme for this year is rally. And I'm supportive. I keep saying, though, I wish he was just looking cute and on a float. I don't mind that this is an opportunity to talk about our struggles, but I wish this was also an opportunity to just be a beautiful man, like flowing in the wind. You know what I mean? Like,
well, what does the Grand Marshal do?
They get to ride on the float. They get to pick the theme, I think. And then they get to pick a lot of the folks that are also surrounding them in the rally. Deontay's a part of a few different organizations. One is called Build. Build is Black men organizing to uplift each other. And then he's also a part of Lavender Rights Project, right? And he has Converge Media that he has a show on. So all of those facets will be right encompassing him in the parade. And this is a big deal because these people can't afford floats, right? These people can't afford these big old, banners. And instead, they're going to be right there at the front of the parade while he sits on a cute little convertible.
That's amazing. Yeah, so Deontay and I just got a press release about this. The Seattle Torrent are serving as the Grand Marshals.
I like
So
that.
I love it. I love it.
Cute.
Hannah, what is your good news?
Also, you just said Seattle Torrent, sports news. On Tuesday and Wednesday, the NBA's Board of Governors is going to meet and they're going to vote on initiating expansion either to Seattle or Las Vegas. And so we could know really soon if we're going to get, it wouldn't be like the IP of the Sonics necessarily, but if we're going to get a men's basketball team.
No, it's going to be the Sonics. We kept our name. When they robbed us, we got to keep our name. That was like one of the only things it was the only thing we got to keep.
Sure.
Yeah, they left us.
It will be the Sonics.
They left our banners.
It will be the Sonics.
Yeah, they left our banners.
Okay, well, good thing someone corrected
Yes.
me because we would hate for that to be in the comments section.
Okay, listen, NBA, do the right thing. The NHL gave Vegas a team before they gave Seattle a team. They were wrong about that. Sorry, I had beef with the Golden Knights for other unrelated reasons, but do the right thing. Bring the team here,
Yes.
not to Vegas.
Yes.
Vegas can wait.
Well,
Vegas can wait.
I thought it was going to be a 2-team expansion, so we would both get a team. Both Vegas and Seattle would get a team.
Oh my God. I need to read more about this before I brought it up.
No, you're fine.
Like, you might be right. It might be both
Hannah,
of them.
you're fine. But also because they're playing with our heartstrings by continuing to leak a dream versus just tell us that they're coming and when they're coming.
It's been too much. So many little drip drops of hope and then nothing happens. So I will wait until I see real news to get excited about it. In the meantime, I'll just hold it in my heart.
Yeah. I feel that. I just need them to come on home. Like, it makes me really sad that I have an 8-year-old who's never been to a basketball game.
There's time.
I know.
There's time. I feel like we're such a hot market for pro sports, especially right now, that I'm sure it is bound to happen before your kid is out of school.
Yeah.
Or at least, mark my words. That's just like a completely conjecture.
When we got robbed of our team, it was so weird. It was like watching sports, like you're watching the Seahawks today, and then having a few years pass of oh, we're doing really well, oh, we're not doing so well, and then one day somebody just was like, oh, somebody's taking them. Like, who is taking them? What you mean? Nobody could take them. No, they're taking. They're gone. Like, no, they're not gone. What do you mean? They're gone. They're just disappeared. It was a literal robbery and a scam. We got just mistreated. So there's a lot of trauma. So I'm hoping that we can all just come back together and heal too, because it was really bad. It was really weird.
Long before I knew anything about Seattle, as a wee lass growing up in Louisville, Kentucky, there were people I knew who wore Sonics gear in my childhood, and I was like, this is what I knew of Seattle. Mm-hmm. People were very salty about it. Also, a suggestion is take him to the Storm.
True.
Don't have to wait for the Sonics to come back.
He's been to a Storm game, and I'm not against it. Yeah, I should say that. I should add that he's been to a Storm game. But it just isn't, I don't know. Deadlift Strip gave me tickets to a Sonics game when I was in the 6th grade. So you guys don't know who that is. Moving on.
Say more.
At school one time, Deadlift Shrimp, he played for the Sonics. He came and he asked kids questions.
I
we're
do
all
know
on
who
the
that
floor.
is.
Okay, we're all sitting on the floor in the gym, raising our hands really fast to try to answer really small questions. And I won. I got 4 tickets to nosebleeds,
what a
and my family got
flex.
to. Yeah, it was very cool. And my brother, when he was little, he wrote to Sean Kemp, and Sean Kemp sent him signed posters.
Amazing.
I know, the littlest things.
I love
and
that.
I'm sure Sean Kemp just signed 400 posters at once that day. But whoever sent it to
came
him
from
in
him
the mail,
specifically.
exactly. His name,
Yes.
Seth's name wasn't on it, but Seth did get to hang it in his room. Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing.
Quiet mouths don't get fed. Ask for the
Amen.
autograph. I think that's
Amen.
great. That's a great story of triumph. I love that.
Yeah.
Shows initiative as a young person.
Shows initiative.
All right, I'm going to close out our Good News Day Tuesday segment by shouting out Tacos Cometa, which had been known for years as one of the great food stands on the Hill that was open late. It was in that corner at Calla Anderson. They have now opened a brick and mortar location on the Hill, and they're open till 2 a.m. on Fridays and Saturdays. Love to see a local business doing well. to grow into a brick and mortar space. And that is continuing to stay open late because, as we've talked about way too many times on the show, it would be really lovely to have more late night options. And it's just exciting to see that they'll be around still late at night, just getting to serve you out of a actual little hole in the wall.
Yeah, they get to be warm.
It is all our duty now to stay out. We have to.
That's
this
right.
is the problem. People are always like, I want more late night food. It's like, when are you actually, who are the real going out girls? You know, you need to be out there at 1 a.m. getting stuff from them and supporting them many weekends of the year. And I will commit to doing that. I'll
appreciate
carry that
that.
banner.
I appreciate that.
You know, the days are getting longer. The weather is getting warmer. It is soon going to be prime staying out late season. So
And-
get out there, you all.
Also, I'm 41, so I'm not necessarily staying out late, but I want to leave the house late. Do you know what I mean? I might not want to, like, I might want to stay home and like just chill at my house and eat with my family at a normal time. And then when everyone's asleep and it's 1 o'clock, then I want to leave my house and get some food by myself. And then like talk to my girlfriends and all of us sneak off into the night, right? Like that's my dream.
Perfect.
Now I have somewhere to meet
Perfect.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of my friends who has 3 young kids, whenever I am going out and staying out late, he'll come out at like midnight because he's like, the kids are like deep asleep.
Yes.
And this is my time to shine. So
Wow.
midnight to 2 is that shift can be your shift.
Yeah.
If you want, if you
That's-
try hard.
That's real dedication. Real
Yeah.
dedication to
Well,
having
you're
fun.
trying to get out all day, Hannah. Every minute of the
Yeah.
day, you're trying to leave.
You're begging, please let me
yes,
go.
let me go. And then like
Go
literally,
to bed.
it's like in Robin Hood, you know, the cartoon where like all the prison doors open. They open at midnight, so you're only free at midnight.
Wow.
And you're going to go to Tacos Cometa.
Oh yeah, I'll meet you there.
Yeah.
All right.
That's all for today here at CityCast Seattle. Eula, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, a blessing. I'm so happy to get to share myself.
And Hannah, thank you for joining us as well.
Thank you. And I apologize for everything I said wrong about the Sonics. Please don't hurt me.
No, you brought it up. I'm just so happy you brought it up.
Thank you. You know what? And that's the attitude I hope the commenters have on Instagram and all the socials.
I'm your host, Jane C. Hu. Listeners, thank you so much for joining us. We love hearing from you all. Send us your news tips, your questions, your hot goss, your rampant speculation about the Sonics by sending an email to seattle@citycast.fm. You can also text us or leave us a voicemail on the CityCast hotline at 206-880-3931. Until next time, see you, Seattle.